bother anybody here. Hey, it's echoing. Turn it down a little. Hey, we're going to have to
we're going to have to probably end doing this. Okay. Yes. Okay.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for coming out to Hoffman Estates this morning. Grab some popcorn, some water, some coffee. I am ending my 2-week Easter recess. I hope everybody had a lovely Easter and a wonderful Passover. We go back to Washington on Monday. Just got word of an interesting hearing on Monday looking into this whole GSA controversy. That should be quite interesting. I've been sick for the last few weeks. Had walking pneumonia, but I'm better. Thank you for coming out, and I apologize if you can't hear me. You know that I do these every weekend. I do town halls all the time, but I love to do this because it's a smaller setting. A local establishment here can make some money, and you can talk to your congressman in a more intimate setting. Thank you. Let me just go over one quick issue, and then we'll open it up to any questions and thoughts you have. It seems pretty clear now that the Republicans have a nominee. His name is Mitt Romney. And I hope, it's my hope now, that we can begin having a pretty important campaign at the presidential level. And I hope the campaign focuses on what it should focus on and nothing else. I hope it focuses on all the debt that is piled on top of our heads right now. What are we going to do about it? And I hope the campaign is focused on how to put Americans back to work. And there aren't many congressmen who get out more than I do, but as I am out every day, and I talk to men and women, older, middle-aged, and young, white, black, brown, you name it, everybody is concerned about two things. It's hard to get by, I'm not working, and I'm scared to death about all this debt. I don't think this campaign should be about anything else. What are you going to do for me? Romney, Obama, Duckworth, Walsh, about that. And I hope that we as voters this year are smart enough to not be fooled by politicians who try to tell us this election's about other things. It's an important election. I hope we're up to it. As a country, I hope we're up to it. I know our media probably isn't, but I hope we are. I'm going to go back to Washington Monday, and as I've always said, there's not a lot that's going to happen this year in Washington. You may think that's a good or a bad thing, but there's not a lot that's going to happen right now. Everybody in Washington seems to be waiting until after this next election is over. So I'm going to stop there. Thoughts, issues, questions, like everything, guys. Make sure you order something, eat something, drink something. I want them to make some money. And always, let's treat each other with respect. I do this 1,000 times, and I'm not going to stop doing this. But let's treat each other with respect. You all treat each other with respect. Do the best you can with me. Who wants to start off? Right here, sir. And I'll repeat the questions.
Joe, because you said right now it's all about the election, what's your plan to appeal to folks in your new district, given the way it's been done? It'll be more difficult than the last election on that basis. So what's your plan to really get out and have your message be heard by more people who wouldn't necessarily actually vote for you?
Right, great question. And let me preface it by saying this is a congressional event. So I'm speaking to you as your current congressman because we're in my current district. You all know that I'm going to be running in a new district. Hoffman Estates will be in the new district too. So I don't want to talk too much about the campaign because I want to keep those separate. But let me give you a general thought. Here's what I've said from day one, and I still believe it. There is a silent majority of people in this country that is scared, angry, frustrated, and concerned with how much debt we have in Washington, how big our government's getting, and how little we're working out here. And they're angry at both parties for getting us into this mess. How am I going to appeal to people like that? Because that's who I am. So I'm going to say to people, I don't care if you're a Republican or a Democrat, are you happy that we're $16 trillion in debt? I don't care if you're a Republican or a Democrat, are you happy with a 14 or 15% real unemployment rate? I don't care if you're a Republican or a Democrat. Are you happy that there are going to be more foreclosures in Illinois this year than last year? You know, not everybody comes to these events and not everybody screams and says, I'm a Tea Party person. But we all, I think most Americans feel the same way. We gotta limit what government does, and we all have to take more control over our own lives. I think even in this new district, that's how people feel. And look, I've been very outspoken in how I feel about this president. He's in la-la land. He ignores this stuff. He's going to spend the next 7 months saying, I'll take care of you. Let me just keep growing government. I'll take care of you. Don't worry about the debt. What's her name? What's your name? Madison. Everybody right now. Madison, come here. Come here. First time I ever met Madison. Come here, Madison. Come here, stand on this chair. Stand up. She's adorable. Everybody say hello to Madison.
Hi, Madison.
Madison, how old are you? 9 years old. Right now, Madison has about a 40 to 50,000 debt on top of her head that she's going to have to pay off 20 years from now. And Madison, I hate to tell you this, but that $40,000 to $50,000 is going to be a lot more. Now, how many people in this room, how many people, raise your hand, would take out a $100,000 loan, loan at the bank today, and make Madison pay that loan off 20 years from now? Who would do that? That's what we're doing. And I would argue that's what this president wants us to do. That's what, unfortunately, the Democrats in Washington don't seem to care about. They want us to do it. For too long, Republicans haven't been as concerned as we should about what we're doing to Madison. I say stop. It is criminal. It's criminal what we're doing to Madison. We have to stop. And you know what? I could be dead wrong. But you can't tell me that most people in Schaumburg, Elk Grove, Villa Park, Elmhurst, Bloomingdale, most people, at the end of the day, don't want to place that debt on top of Madison's head. I refuse to believe it. High five, Madison. She did great.
They say the two major issues right now are debt and jobs, right? And yet, major economists now, including the President's secretary, say that public spending now is impeding the economy and it's buying jobs. Now, why are they impeding the economy?
Let me repeat the question. The question is, I said the biggest issues right now in this country are mammoth debt and the fact that too many Americans aren't working. This gentleman, this young gentleman here, just said that the Treasury Secretary and others in the administration have said, I would disagree, I wouldn't say all, but let's just, we'll agree to disagree on that. There are some economists that say now would be the worst time to cut spending. That will hurt job growth. Here's what I say, and I'm not an economist. Every dollar that we send to Washington is a dollar that we take away from rookies, that we take away from the rest of us. So I want to bring those dollars back because I fundamentally don't believe that Washington creates jobs. The less we take away from Washington needs to be, the more that we have, the more that our small businesses have. And when our small businesses have more of their money, you know what they're going to do? They're going to grow and hire. And right now, the reason they're not hiring people is because they're scared to death with all the Washington debt. That's what I hear. Hey, don't talk to me about economists.
Your government is firing people. There are more people fired by the government than any other place in the economy. They're destroying jobs by firing people in the government. And they're creating, destroying jobs by not allowing people in construction to work because you won't spend money to allow construction to occur.
All that stimulus money, we didn't spend all that stimulus money.
Now listen, we need to bring down the debt. But that happens after we're healthy, not now while we're trying to recover.
The point he's trying to make, and it's an interesting one, we can't bring down our debt until after the economy's healthy. And again, this just goes to what you believe. I'd rather talk to business people in this country, primarily small business people, and ask them why they're not hiring. And maybe you don't care about them, but what they tell me is, I'm not hiring because I'm overregulated, I'm overtaxed, and Washington's broke. So, I'd rather do something about that. Next question.
Deregulation is what caused this situation.
Deregulation, that my friend says, is what caused the recession. I disagree. Too much government caused it. But you know what?
Banks were deregulated. That's what caused the recession.
What's your first name? Tom. This is what makes America an interesting place to live.
You don't believe the banks caused the recession?
No, I believe the government caused the recession. Okay, thoughts, issues, questions? Hey, you are starting to film me everywhere. Are you becoming a groupie? No, she's probably filming for Tammy Duckworth. I would Tammy to come out to these things. Yes, ma'am. The microphone is together. Hey, never mind. Go ahead.
I don't live in Illinois. I live in California.
The question was, it was a good question. Hey, you two, take it outside. Take it outside. The question was, this lady over here lives in California. Welcome. How about that? She flew out here to come do a cup of joe. That's unbelievable. That's unbelievable. The question is, how do congressmen in Washington think? Do they think that the people can solve some of these problems? Do they think they know what's best for us? Here's the problem. We've elected for too long Republicans and Democrats. We've sent them to Washington. They stay there forever. We treat them like kings and queens. They become different than the rest of us. And they begin to think they're special. So when you got a guy like me who went to Washington, who sleeps on the floor of my office, I turned down my congressional health benefits, I turned down my congressional retirement, I'm a term limit guy, I don't think anybody should serve more than 6 years, I'm an odd duck. Too many of them still think they know better than you. The way our system was set up, I don't know any better than you. How do I know that? Because I'm just your voice. Anybody in this cup of joe could do what I'm doing. I am just your, even Trudy. I am simply your representative. Doesn't make me special. I go there and I'm your voice. You've heard me say this a lot, and I'm going to say it again in front of the camera, so you're going to use this against me. You got to grow up. We Americans have got to grow up. Politicians hate to say that to people. Oh my God, I'm going to lose a vote. There they go, I just lost a vote. Baloney. You got to grow up. We all got to grow up. We have created this mess. It's so easy to blame the politicians. So easy to blame them. Believe me, it is. Who sent them there? And who stopped paying attention? We did. We did. We have to grow up as a country and take more control over our own lives. Madison, come here. I need you again. Madison. I wonder, Aaron, if I could just have to start paying her. How about? Hey, let me tell you another dirty secret that everybody in Washington knows. Every Republican and every Democrat, from President Obama down to me. We all like this thing called Medicare, right? Medicare. It pays for all of us, all of our health care as we get older. Every Republican and every Democrat in Washington knows Medicare will be gone in 10 years, 8 to 10 years, unless we do something to save it. Obama knows that. Tammy Duckworth knows that. So when people run around and say, that big bad Joe Walsh, he wants to end Medicare as we know it, shame on them. What we all know is, unless we do something to Medicare, we will end it as we know it. Medicare will not be around for Madison. Social Security will probably not be around for Madison. Unless we as a country grow up and fix these programs so that they are around for Madison. And it's wrong, and I would say again, Madison, it's almost negligent toward Madison's generation to say, don't touch my Medicare. Don't touch my Social Security. Look at this face. What about this face? We, as a country, not all of us, most of us, need to begin to assume more of the responsibility for our own health care costs. Uh-oh, that's going to lose me votes. We have to, or nothing is going to be around for her. This isn't hard to understand. Do you know, sometimes I think we got to pull our heads out. Think about this. When we started Social Security, my God, we were dying when we were 61, 2, and 3. Now we're living into our 90s. We're healthy, we're playing golf. This is all a good thing. But as a country, don't move, Madison. As a country, we haven't had the conversation, how are you going to pay for all this health care? The Democrats just want to ignore it. The Republicans, at least finally, have the courage to start to talk about it. But I'm going to point my fingers right at you all. And politicians don't do this. You have to demand it. Grow up. In my world, in my perfect America, you get to keep a heck of a lot more of the money you make. I want to cut everybody's taxes. Everybody's. You know why? Because I think it's your money. I think it's your money. But then, I want you to be more responsible for your life. You be more responsible for your life. If we don't do that, nothing will be around for her. Shame on us as a country. Good job, Madison. Hey, don't get too comfortable over there. Next question.
Assuming it's going to be upheld.
Assuming it's going to be upheld.
It's going to be upheld. Doesn't Obamacare clean up both Medicare and Medicaid in 5 years? There'll be no need for that?
Well, I'm not assuming it's going to be upheld.
I'm not either. With Obamacare in full force, Medicare and Medicaid stay with. They terminate.
Well, let's be really blunt. If Obamacare cannot be